We're going to show you how to set up firing and muzzle flashes along with projectiles. And at the end we'll show you how to customize some of the weapon properties. We'll start pretty much where we left off in the first tutorial. We have our weapon spawning set up, and I've added a few additional inputs so that I can toggle through all the different weapons in the kit. We're going to start off by creating a method that will be very useful when manipulating the wielded weapon. So we're going to want to do this often, so we'll convert this code into a function. We'll call it getCurrentWieldedWeapon. And we'll set it to pure since it's not going to be editing anything, and set the name of the return type. So getWieldedWeapon will help us quickly get a reference to the current weapon in our hand. We can clean up some of our previous code and then continue to setting it up for the firing animations. We'll create some extra room and then move on over to the spawn projectile, part of the first person template. So before we set up our code, I'm just going to create some space. And here we will disconnect the play montage. In your own project, you can hook up different animations for each weapon. For now, we're just going to disable this. And then we're going to get the current weapon in our hand, and we're going to call set trigger state. Trigger state down is going to tell the animation blueprint that you're holding the trigger, and that's going to play the firing animation. And on release, we want to make sure that the trigger is not down, otherwise it'll keep firing. And then we can continue to spawn the projectile after setting the trigger state. So let's test this out. So here, if I start to switch between the weapons, I can now fire. You can see we're ejecting a shell, and the different weapons will have different fire rates. Now you'll notice there's no muzzle flash, but we're going to set that up next. So let's go back into the blueprints, and to set up a muzzle flash, there's already a property on the weapon. We just need to tell it which particle system to use. But we're going to set the particle system to use on this property called Muzzle Flash Particles. And in our case, we're using a third-party particle asset set from the store. So I'm just going to assign a particle system to the gun after it's spawned, and then we can test it out again. So now when we fire, we're getting a nice muzzle flash, and you'll notice the flash is in the correct position based on whether you have a suppressor or not. So we've got shells ejecting, we've got the cocking animation for the shotgun. The next step we're going to do is open up the rifle accessory. So the sniper it's got a stand, and we want to initialize it to be in the open position rather than closed position. So when we wield the sniper, we're going to tell it to deploy the rifle accessory. So now when I select the sniper, you'll see the stand pop open, and yeah, it just looks a little nicer. For the knife and axe, we want to spawn a projectile to throw the weapon. We're going to do a little switch, or a branch rather, based on the index of the weapon. If it's index 6 or 7, instead of spawning the sphere bullet, we're going to spawn a projectile that has the same weapon shape. So an axe projectile or a knife projectile. And we're going to do this by calling a method that's provided on our weapon blueprints. It's called spawn projectile proxy. So we'll call this on the weapon. And we're not going to hide the weapon in our hand, and we'll make sure the projectiles live for 5 seconds. So our guns are still working, but if we switch to a knife, now we can throw a knife, and you can see it should stick into the walls. And the same thing for the axe. Let's throw one in the air for fun. The next thing we're going to do is set up some customization of the weapon in your hand. There's many options here, but we'll start off by customizing the skin. We provide 4 different skins for each weapon, and we can also customize the skin color for 2 of the skins, for the military and the vibrant skin. So I'll set up some inputs. So we'll do left bracket, right bracket for toggling the skin, or for cycling through the different skins. And then we're going to use our get current wielded weapon, and there's a method on the weapon that's already provided called cycle skin type. When we hit left bracket, we're going to cycle backwards, and then when we hit right bracket, we're going to cycle forwards. We're also going to add a skin color toggle or cycle. So we'll do keypad minus and plus to switch the color swatch of the skin. And minus is going to cycle backwards, plus is going to cycle forward. So let's test this out. So now when I select a weapon, I can change skins. So I can go to the vibrant skin, and in the vibrant skin I can start to toggle different colors. So I can go to the military skin and maybe pick a more serious color like a drab camo. We'll add another control to be able to switch the muzzle attachment. So when we hit the M key, we'll just cycle through the different muzzle types. And now on our AR, we'll set up a nice vibrant color here, and then we'll go through the muzzle attachments. So we can do the suppressor, you can see the muzzle flash will adjust to the suppressor. This is no muzzle. Here's the arrowhead brake. It's the helix brake. Same thing for the SMG. Try different muzzles. So this gives you an idea of the basic functions that are available on the weapons. There's more things you can customize, so definitely look around and play around with the blueprints. Thank you for watching. Let us know if you have questions on the Discord or on our website.